Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So the last update about Unfortunate Love was how Malishka saves Lakshmi at the police station by giving a statement that it was not Lakshmi that kidnapped her. She did this so that Rishi can come closer to her. So let's continue from there. Malishka is angry after seeing Rishi romancing with Lakshmi. Rishi comes to Malishka. Malishka calls Rishi a cheater, a liar and a betrayer and says you promised to make me your life partner but you married Lakshmi. Rishi says I was about to come. Malishka says when? After I die? She says you pretend to be sweet with me and you hugged me so that I don't give statement against Lakshmi. Malishka cried and tells Rishi that she just asked him to take her on a long drive and spend time with her. She says, I never saw anyone other than you, and I used to come to you on one of your saying. She says, I haven't changed, but you have changed. Rishi asks Malishka to listen, but Malishka interrupts and asks that why did you change? Rishi says, I am a married man now, and what are you expecting me to do? To have some relationship with you? Rishi says we can be friends, but nothing more than that. Malishka is shocked. Rishi tells Malishka that Lakshmi is his wife and he is Lakshmi's husband. Malishka says we were about to get married and you and I wanted to get married. She asks him to say it if they will get married or not. Rishi says I don't know what to say. Malishka says your hesitation answered me and says that you really don't want to leave Lakshmi. Malishka asks Rishi that what is in Lakshmi. She says Lakshmi is nothing in front of me. She asks is she beautiful, intelligent, or does Lakshmi have class? She says she has no value. She doesn't have parent or home. I don't know from where she came. Rishi shouted enough and tells Malishka that Lakshmi has everything because she have me and I will never let Lakshmi miss anything. Rishi says to Malishka that Lakshmi is my wife and I am Lakshmi's husband. He says I will listen to you about me, but I will not listen to you saying anything against Lakshmi. Rishi says we had relationship before my marriage, but it was before my marriage with Lakshmi and not now. Rishi says to Malishka that he has a relationship with Lakshmi now. Lakshmi is his life partner. He has married Lakshmi and he made Lakshmi wear the wedding necklace and he filled Lakshmi's forehead with his sandal. Malishka asks that until when will Lakshmi be your wife? She asks if Rishi will divorce Lakshmi or not. Rishi says I have no idea what will happen in the future and he asks if Malishka ever thought that Lakshmi would be so good. Rishi says to Malishka that I went to the court with Lakshmi for divorce, but the divorce haven't happened. Malishka says I totally get it, that you don't want to leave Lakshmi. Malishka says I hate you and she goes out of the room crying and Rishi shouted Malishka. Kiran says Malishka going out of the house and she thinks that why is she angry? Rishi thinks that why is Malishka angry and why should I hear a nonsense talk against Lakshmi? He thinks that I will not hear anything and only I can understand what Lakshmi means to me. He worries that Malishka might harm herself and he comes downstairs to follow Malishka, but Grandma asks him to give her water. Rishi gives Grandma water and tells Grandma that he was going behind Malishka because Malishka went away in anger. Grandma says I saw Malishka going and that is why I stopped you. Grandma says Kiran went behind Malishka, so you don't have to also go behind her. Rishi says he would go and see and he worries that Malishka might harm herself, but Grandma stops Rishi from going. Grandma says to Rishi that I know why Malishka is angry and it is because you are good and truthful. Grandma tells Rishi that Lakshmi is his wife and she asks him to move on with Lakshmi and he should let Malishka live her life. Grandma says you should move on with Lakshmi and says if this thing doesn't happen, then you and Malishka will be doing injustice with Lakshmi. Rishi says to Grandma that but I am worried for Malishka. Grandma says Kiran would handle Malishka and says sometimes Malishka do this to gather attention and Grandma send Rishi to Lakshmi. Inside, Lakshmi feels shy and blushes thinking about Rishi tying the flower to her hair. A song plays in the background. Malishka is walking on the road crying and thinking about Rishi's words that he is now Lakshmi's husband. She is about to meet with an accident, but a guy saves her. She gets happy and calls the guy Rishi and says, I know you will come to me. The guy asks her to be careful while walking on the road and the guy leaves. Then Malishka realized that the guy is not Rishi and Malishka cried again. Malishka is crying sitting on the road and she thinks that Rishi used to come behind her always, but today Rishi did not come and this means that Lakshmi has won and she cried. Neelam comes to Rishi and tells him that Malishka did not mention Lakshmi's name to save our family respect, and this shows how good-hearted Malishka is. Rishi tells Neelam that why would Malishka take Lakshmi's name, because Balvinda and 2 more people were involved in the kidnapping and it is not Lakshmi. Neelam says, I know what Lakshmi can do. Rishi says you don't know, and he asks her to trust Lakshmi once like she is trusting Malishka. Kiran comes to Malishka in her car and she gets down from the car and goes to meet Malishka sitting on the road. Malishka hugs Kiran and cries and says Rishi can never be mine. Kiran says we should go home and talk. Malishka sits in the car and goes, leaving Kiran on the road, and Kiran thinks that I will kill Lakshmi if anything happens to my daughter. Rishi comes to their room and pulls the comforter from Lakshmi's face. Lakshmi is awake and she gets up and she smiles. Rishi holds Lakshmi's face and says it seems that the clouds are gone and the moon has come. He says it sounded filmy, but it felt the same, and they both get romantic. Malishka is driving the car and she thinks that what is in that cheap Lakshmi, that Rishi forgot all the promises he made to me. Lakshmi is about to get up from the bed and Rishi asks that where is she going to. Lakshmi says, where will I go leaving you? She says, sometimes I feel that you are that person for me, whom I have come into this world. And Rishi says, wow, a big compliment. Lakshmi asks Rishi to say this to her. Rishi says, you are part lubas. Lakshmi says that many times she was wrongly accused, but Rishi always stood by her. Malishka regrets and thinks that if she got Lakshmi kidnapped or murdered, then she wouldn't have seen this day. Kiran calls Sonal and asks her to come and says Malishka needs you. Rishi says to Lakshmi that stay this way. Lakshmi asks if Rishi will not change. Rishi says no and says you are good and truthful. Lakshmi says don't change. Rishi says should I change a little bit? Lakshmi says Rishi, and Rishi laughs and says he cannot stop now. Rishi holds Lakshmi's face and takes out her eyebrow hair from under her eyes. He asks her to make a wish and Lakshmi prays to God for Rishi's happiness. Rishi asks Lakshmi to ask something for herself. Lakshmi says yes. Rishi asks Lakshmi to tell him her wish, but Lakshmi refused, and she asks Rishi to leave her palu, but Rishi says that he did not hold her palu. Balvinda remembered Rishi beating him. Guru tells Balvinda that his destiny is good that he got saved, else Rishi would have killed him. Balvinda says Rishi won because Lakshmi is with him, and he says that Malishka's plan was good. Lakshmi would have died and I would have gotten millions of rupees, but this plan failed again. Guru asks Balvinda to maintain distance with Malishka and forget Lakshmi completely. Malishka breaks things in her room and imagines Rishi and Lakshmi romancing on her bed. She breaks the mirror and asks Lakshmi not to touch her Rishi, and she asks Rishi not to let Lakshmi touch him. Malishka imagines Rishi asking her that why did Malishka have an objection because she got him married to Lakshmi. Malishka says, I got you married to Lakshmi so that you can get saved for me. Rishi says, I am of Lakshmi now. Malishka imagines Lakshmi asking her if Malishka saw her love power and says that love was war for you, which you have lost. Malishka imagines Rishi telling her that she is a loser. Malishka says, yes, you made me a loser, and says your Malishka is dead, and she stabs herself. Lakshmi asks Rishi if he had food. Rishi says no, and says I just saw it when everyone were eating. Lakshmi says I forgot, and she asks him not to pull her leg. Rishi asks, can I pull your hand? Lakshmi says it is late, we should change our clothes and we should sleep. Kiran comes to the house and thinks that they changed the house overnight, thinking it will bring change in Malishka's life. She thinks that Sonal is coming and she will make everything fine and she will bring Rishi back to Malishka. Rishi teases Lakshmi saying that cockroach is there. Lakshmi jumps and climbs on the bed and Rishi laughs. Lakshmi says to Rishi that you are behind me. Rishi says my wife. Every wife wants her husband to be behind her. Rishi says if you don't want me to be behind you, then I can be behind someone else to set her life. Lakshmi says okay. Rishi comes to Malishka and sees her stomach bleeding after the knife stab, and he tells her that he will not let anything happen to her. Rishi gets a call and he tells Malishka that Lakshmi fell down from the stair and says I should go. Malishka says, will you leave me here dying? Rishi says I am sorry, but I have to go, and he leaves Malishka there bleeding, but it turns out to be Malishka's imagination. Malishka thinks that today, Rishi has killed her by choosing Lakshmi over her, and Rishi will regret all his life and he would never get a girl like Malishka again. Kiran comes there and sees Malishka stabbing herself and she falls down. Rishi talks to himself about whom to call to make Lakshmi jealous, and Lakshmi hears him. Rishi calls Aliyah and says pick the call. Lakshmi takes the phone from Rishi's hand and ends the call. Rishi asks, why did you cut the call? Lakshmi says, because as long as I'm your wife, I am your life, and I will not let you go behind anyone. Rishi comes near Lakshmi and asks, really? While a song plays in the background. Rishi asks Lakshmi that what if I go behind someone? Lakshmi says, then I will go behind you. She says it is a saying. Rishi says it is tricky, and he asks Lakshmi to give him his phone, but Lakshmi refused and says, what if Aliyah calls back? Rishi says, then cut the call, and Rishi goes to change. Lakshmi asks God what kind of husband she got, but she likes him. Rishi asks, what did you say? Lakshmi says nothing, and she goes to get water. Malishka sees Kiran on the floor, and she haven't stabbed herself. She comes to Kiran and asks if she is fine. Kiran slaps Malishka and asks if she will kill herself if she did not get Rishi. Malishka says Rishi is my life, and what will she do without him? Malishka cried and says to Kiran that she doesn't want to leave if Rishi is not in her life. Sonal calls Kiran and tells her that she should not kill herself, but she should kill the Odu that come to her way. Sonal tells Kiran that she is coming there, and she asks if Malishka wants to die, then she should die in front of her. Kiran asks Malishka to kill her first if she wants to kill herself, and Malishka tells Sonal that even she doesn't want to die, but she just wants Rishi, and Sonal says that she is coming, and she ends the call. Malishka hugs Kiran, and Kiran thinks that she is sure that Sonal will make everything fine. A guy entered the Oberai's mansion. Tushar Kapoor as an inspector comes inside the house following the guy. Virendra asks that who is he? The inspector says he is Rajiv Dixit, and he comes to catch the criminal. He says the criminal had killed Pooja and he came here. He asks that why do they keep the door open, and he tells them that he will check their house for the criminal. But Neelam says to the inspector that he will not get any criminal here. In the room, Rishi finds an hat and a black coat. He thinks that Lakshmi might want him to wear it, and he wears it and comes downstairs. The inspector arrests Rishi for Reena and Pooja's murder, but Rishi says that he is Rishi Oberoi and he is not a criminal. Neelam tells the inspector that Rishi is our son. The inspector gets a call and says that Rishi is really not the criminal, but the criminal will be somewhere around. Lakshmi says that the coat and the hat is not for Rishi, and Rishi removed the coat and the hat and he gave it to the inspector. Rishi tells the inspector that he wore the coat and the hat thinking that Lakshmi kept it in the room for him. The inspector asks Rishi to be careful next time, and he asks the viewers to watch his film in the theater, and he leaves from there. So the last episode where the inspector followed someone to the Oberai's house is actually a promo for a movie. So they promoted it on the show, but I don't think Zeeworld is going to show that part. Thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to like this video, share it, and also check the comment section for the link to the next episode. And I'm sorry that I couldn't post for like 2 days, and now Zeeworld has caught up with us, but we are going to move ahead again. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.